Good evening, good morning. How wonderful that we've been able to meet again just a short week later. Uh, I've been so enjoying this get together that we have, Be Your Own Therapist, because it's so nice how, as Lama often said, karma takes care. So just our kind of what's been happening in the week, our group energy, our group karma, and the topics that come up have been really pertinent for me for the whole week. So it's been really fantastic like that. So here we are again in Be Your Own Therapist, which is really the whole essence of Buddhist practice. And that we have to be our own therapist. We can certainly get a huge amount of help, but we have to do the work, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. And I often think how Venerable Rabina said to us about how, if you're really tired and you need sleep, you can't get somebody else to sleep for you. you have to have the rest. And that's kind of what it comes down to, doesn't it? That we can have all the support in the world, and we do need it. We need to have our circumstances support us and our inner attitudes support us, but we have to do the work. So that could be quite daunting, except right there in the Buddha's teachings is the whole explanation of the mind, of our nature, of our potential. And the Buddha explained to us how we actually can be our own therapist. And not only that, we can become liberated and become the therapist for others, like Medicine Buddha. So that's the extra bit. We always know, oh, yeah, we have to do the work, but we forget that we've also got the potential. It's not an impossible thing. And in fact, not only do we have the potential, that is our potential to do that, to become our own therapist, to heal ourselves, and then in turn to become an object of refuge for others and be able to heal others. So just like Venerable Rabina was saying about the little acorn, that's got a potential for the oak tree, that's there. And if you put it in the ground and you give it all of its conditions, it can't help become an oak tree. You can't say, no, don't do it. It's just going to become what its nature is, given all the right conditions. But what we usually use that little acorn for is dangly earrings or a weapon to chuck at people or something. So we misuse this incredible potential. So it's another thing Venerable Rabina said that's really stuck with me as well. And it gives me a lot of confidence that if we can do something about putting in place all the outer and inner conditions to nurture that potential, and then we can't help but become a Buddha. We can't help but generate realizations, because that is actually our potential. So there's a huge amount of hope and confidence that we can take from that. So with that, let's do our short motivation and breathing meditation. And when we're doing that, then the various themes of the week will probably come to mind, and we can begin to discuss those. So our breathing meditation, and the 2-point posture, settling your physical posture so your spine is straight, and then relaxing your body. The nicest way to make sure your spine is straight is from the inside. Feel that thread of light running from the base of your spine up through your body, coming out the crown of your head. Feel the weight of your body suspended from your crown, and then your posture will naturally adjust. And then relax the shoulders, release the tension held in the neck and the shoulders. And enjoy that nice balance between having a straight spine and a relaxed body. And then feel yourself surrounded by the infinite loving kindness of all the Buddhas. Like you're in their aura of love, kindness, compassion, understanding. And then gently breathe in through the right nostril and out through the left. And as you breathe in all of that love, kindness, concern, and wisdom and inspiration. Breathe that in, the golden light of all of these qualities of the Buddhas flows into you. Your whole body becomes vibrant and illuminated. And as you breathe out through the left nostril, that light, it pushes out all the darkness of your inner energy, all of the doubts and the procrastinations in the form of black smoke. So 3 long, leisurely breaths. And then when you're ready, swapping the nostrils over. So breathing in all that loving kindness and wisdom in the form of blissful, energized light. Breathe in through the left nostril, it flows through your whole body. Your whole body becomes cleansed, purified, energized. And then naturally, every time you breathe out, it pushes out all that inner darkness, all of the negativities, the disturbed states of mind. You release them as you breathe out through the right nostril. So as you take in a really deep breath, then just let it force out the breath. You naturally expel all those negativities. In the form of black smoke, it just disappears into space. So the nostrils swapped over 3 times. And then in through both nostrils, breathing in that radiance. It fills every part of your body, every atom of your body. And as you breathe out, it pushes out even the very subtle negativities, disturbed states of mind, distortions. The black smoke begins to become thinner. You release every skerrick of negativity. So again, 3 long, leisurely breaths. And then just continue to breathe naturally. Feel your body relaxed and energized, your mind clear, open. Keeping your focus tethered on the breath. And we can set our motivation for today to really tackle the big issues in our life, to cast a Dharma eye, our Dharma wisdom over our ordinary life and see it as an integral part of our path to enlightenment. And let the various events and issues and inner projects that you've been working on throughout the week, let them come to mind. We can motivate that everything that we talk about can bring realizations on the path to liberation and enlightenment, so we can benefit every single sentient being in the best possible way. And then you can open your eyes if they're closed, and with this motivation, I'm hoping that there's been some really big issues and things going on this week. How is everybody? What's going on? Yeah, Shannon, go for it.
Sorry, I touched on this another time, but I've had a 3-year saga with a lot of kind of bullying and harassment, and it started in a workplace, and I made a complaint, and then it was my partner at the time works in the same field as me, and he started asking some pretty specific questions and wouldn't tell me who'd been talking to him about me. So I ended that relationship, moved up north, had a breakdown, came back here, and then my neighbour has started. I've made complaints to the police. I've got legal advice. I also, of course, take medicine and see a counsellor. And I don't know how to stop it. And I don't know how my neighbour has got all this private information about me, and it's very confusing and it's quite frightening. And it's made me very anxious, and it's hard to concentrate. I'm home a lot because I'm studying from home, and I live in a townhouse and I share a wall with him. So he's really close.
Right.
And the police said to me, don't engage with him, so I don't. And I can't get a peace and good behaviour order because he hasn't threatened to harm me or damage my property, so he hasn't gone that far. So there's not really much I can do. And the policewoman even said to me, it's not a criminal matter yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a bit chilling, those words, isn't it? Yeah, so Shannon, that sounds really challenging and long-term trauma.
3 years.
And 3 years is huge. So number one, really to let yourself feel compassion for yourself, as if you were like your own auntie, to just really recognize the difficulty and be kind and patient with yourself, because you might find that you get a bit impatient or intolerant or a bit judgmental, and that's really where you've got to ease off and in your mind be really kind and gentle, as if you were talking with a distressed child, rather than get really hard with yourself. So number one, just to recognize the stress. But so there's the worldly way to deal with it. And so I need to say a little bit about that, which is make sure you have a buddy system. So you have someone that you can check in with about this situation, that has gone through something like this and knows the ins and outs about it. You've got to find someone that has the worldly experience to help you. So whether it's a self-help group, sometimes there's really good Facebook groups, or just to really see what's there in the community. So you have a buddy system. Number one, really important, because people who've been through a similar thing, you feel part of, like, that you're understood, but also they could be a bit cluey to go, oh, red flag here, pay attention to this, where you may not have paid attention. So it's really lived experience. See if you can have a contact with the police that you have a good relationship with, so you feel that you can trust them. And there are probably many things that you can Google of non-violent communication, non-aggressive communication, to help you. So that's all on the worldly side of things, and it can go really quite deep, as you would know, and you're probably doing all of this. But what we can add on is the Dharma point of view, which is the really deep inner story. And that's usually the one that we don't connect with, but is actually, because it's such a long-term picture, it's how we can really change our inner environment. So the Dharma point of view, you've got to take it quite slowly, and you can think from a karmic point of view, karmic cause and effect. Whatever we experience, it's not random, it had a cause. Pretty much whatever we experience in this life, the cause wasn't in this life. The cause was in past lives. Everything that we experience that happens to us, our personality, everything like that, cause was in a past life, and now we're experiencing the result. And then we add a layer onto that how we respond then sets up what happens next. So that's one thing that we can really do, is like, how you respond is not to respond in kind, to try and respond as a decent human being. Then from your side, at least, you're not continuing that karma. So you won't see the results of that, but I guarantee you that's going to have an effect, positive effect. It's totally worth it. But the other thing is to just think, oh, okay, so whatever I'm experiencing now, it had a cause. The cause is similar to the result. So in the past, in some past life, some past relationship and existence, I've done a very similar thing to this person, and now it comes back at me. It's called the wheel of sharp weapons. And, in the past, I was the aggressor and they were the victim, and now it's just swapped over. And it will swap over again and again and again and again, unless we put a stop to it. So we can put a stop to it for us and for them. We can put a stop to it that we no longer become a victim, and we can put a stop to that we never become an aggressor. So
I've yelled at him twice. Like at Christmas time, he said something to me and I just cracked and I told him to whatever. And about 3 weeks ago, I told him to whatever. And they're the only 2 times that I've engaged with him. It just built up and I just went.
Yeah, that's right. So you've got to be able to figure out how to have how to release that energy and how to communicate without it being retaliatory. You want to do it on your terms. So the non-violent communication, there are courses about that, and they're really amazing. So just as a day-to-day skill, that's fantastic, and it's something to practice, how to be assertive and not aggressive. I mean, if we all learned that in the world, wouldn't it be a different place? But it's really challenging. But you can really get your teeth into that. And an incentive for that is you can think, it's like an exercise. This terrible experience that you're having can be an exercise for you to become the most amazing human being. Because the benefit that you can get from this can mean that every single relationship that you have with people for the whole of your entire life, you can guarantee will be beneficial and will never harm them. Wouldn't that be amazing? So that only comes from doing the really intense work within yourself, so that you really have confidence and you trust yourself. You'll never retaliate, and you've gone through the whole thing in experience. And the only way we get to do that is if we have a problem. We don't get to do that when we've got spare time. So this terrible situation can become a boon for the whole rest of humanity. That's how you can look at it. But this is going to make you just the most amazing human being to be with. Despite him. So that's
I just want him to leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. So,
and I want to know who is giving him all this information. Like, I don't know.
You may never know. And even if that person stops, it may be another person. There's always leaks. There's always things. So, it'll probably come out in the wash. You always kind of find out, but it takes a while to find out what was going on. And also because our worldview is so different from other people's worldview, we would never imagine somebody would do something like that. Like, we find it so hard. So then we can't actually see it when it's happening. It may be right in front of our eyes, but we can't see it because we can't conceive of it. So just give it time. It'll become apparent. On the worldly level, change all your passwords. Don't go on social media. You've probably done all of that. But the Dharma level is the one where everything that happens to us, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, we can use to help us become liberated and become a Buddha. And that's the really radical approach of Buddhism. That we don't go, I'm just going to use the nice things and I don't want the bad things. We kind of go, well, I have no control over this situation. Having no control is one of the most, if not the most, distressing experiences we have in our life. What can we control? Our whole inner experience and how we respond, and that determines what happens to us in the future. So the inner karmic experience is what you can work on in a very private way. And I mean, reason I'm even daring to say all of this with such what's obviously a terrible situation is that I had a similar thing over the last 2 years of bullying. It just about destroyed me. I was so blocked. I was just saying to Eddie this morning, I felt like internally I had an inner glass ceiling. Like, everything I tried to do, my energy was blocked. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think, I couldn't speak, I couldn't walk around, I couldn't do any projects, I couldn't have any ideas. It was absolutely devastating. And I've only just realized that's what it was, this internal feeling of being blocked. Nothing kind of, the external things, there were external things that I never would have thought were happening, but did happen. I didn't even know I was being bullied for 2 years. But now that it's finished, now I can see the huge difference between it. But what I found was that whole experience showed me, after the initial trauma of it, that I actually wasn't a bad person. That everybody might say I'm a bad person. Well, not everybody, but some people might say I'm a bad person. But I actually, going through the whole thing, got this confidence of going, no, I'm not inherently bad. I'm not inherently broken. And so this inner dialogue that I started having with the enemy became very fruitful, because it was like I was being challenged and finally standing up for myself without having to keep going and be an aggressor, just actually stand up for myself. And so in the end, the inner relationship between me and my enemy became incredibly productive, to the extent that now, like, I never want to speak to them again in the world, but in my mind, I dedicate for them in every puja. I think of them. I really wish them well. It's like I have this really intimate relationship with them and they don't even know, because I really got so much out of it. Huge amount of work, incredibly distressing, but this is what can happen from your side, how you can benefit. But it's a radical approach.
Thank you.
Shannon, I've got this, so as you're going through this situation, you've got the basic safety levels, you've got the privacy issues, you've got the law enforcement, find yourself a buddy in a self-help group, all these worldly things, really get them in order. You need those for your support, but don't stop there. Then go deeper to what's the inner experience. And this, it's through challenges that we grow, and here is the challenge. It's not some other challenge, a better one that's going to come along later. Like, this is the one that's there now. So grasp it with both hands and just get everything you can out of it. And it will become a defining moment of your life that will just rocket ship you through to something better. And that's the Dharma approach. So I've got I do have a here we are. Let's go to, here is a little screen share to sum it up. Harsh words. So last time we talked about divisive talk, but here, like, what are harsh words? So it's where we experience, or so in your case, you experience threatening communication. You don't even know where it's coming from. You probably experience criticism. You may even have your neighbor yelling at you. So various forms of, fear for your safety. Unkind speech, like sarcasm, or I think we might have mentioned a while ago too, just speech like teenage grunts where they're just going, huh, and it can be really hurtful. So communication that's just rough, harsh communication. So really that's what it sounds like. It's harsh communication that's also bordering onto, aggressive and even dangerous. So that's the experience that we're having. Karmically, what we can really kind of take as a rule of thumb is why we're experiencing this now is because in the past, this is how we've treated others. And so, I applied this to my own situation too and thought, well, yeah, in this life, I haven't been doing that. In this situation that I experienced, I haven't been doing that. I've been experiencing it. But in the past, necessarily, this is what I've been doing. And so then what happens is funny thing. You start thinking, oh, yeah, but, when I threaten or when I do this, it's because I'm scared or because I've got to hold my own or because I feel threatened, so I push back. So you start finding the inner experience. And we can guarantee that anyone who's a bully, anyone that's being nasty, it's because they feel bad, they feel threatened, they're hurting, they don't want to. They don't care about you. They just want you to hurt instead. They want you to hurt more than them. So we can think, oh, okay, so in the past, this is how I was. This is what I did. And now I'm experiencing, it's like an echo. Now the echo comes back at me. So even understanding that, it gives us a little bit of the understanding, gives us a bit of compassion for the aggressor, the inside story, because the aggressor, that comes from suffering, whether they're aware of it or not. So if we do those things in the past, then the result for us, we often hear distressing sounds. People easily take offense from us. We have abusive companions, arguments, terrible neighbors, even just neighbors that fight all the time. So all around us, this harshness, aggression, attack through words. So that's the result. And you see, the cause and result, they're so spread out over lifetimes that we can't put it together. It'd be so easy if when we yelled at others, they yelled back, that was the end. But it's not. It's much more spread out. So what to abandon from our side, what we can do now from this moment on is to abandon using words that cause distress. So if we have a choice, go for the kind and true, not the cold, hard fact. Try and if you're going to say those things, try and zip it or think, I'll say it in 10 minutes. The thing about that course of non-violent communication is it's a way of being able to stand up for yourself and not take on the aggression without causing distress in return. And that really is a skill, and it is hard to do. And I have certainly not mastered that. but it is something that we all need to do because that's how we become a safe person to be with. So there's a huge incentive for you to really work on that, and it will. This is how we create world peace, right there. Stop using words that cause distress and be able to be assertive, helpful, and strong. So it's really quite simple. Don't use the words that cause distress. What to do instead? Practice speech that causes pleasure and gentle words. And probably in the terms of your neighbor, apologizing. No, oh no, awful, isn't it? But you apologize for what you did, which is you didn't mean to speak harshly. You had no idea how else to communicate. You're at your wit's end, and you really apologize for the offense, apologize for the harshness, apologize for the disharmony, and what can I do to make it better? It's a real step up, but gee whiz, this whole situation may change, because if that neighbor starts feeling that you are not the aggressor, they will change. So when a neighbor is aggressive to us, that's because they feel put upon. They feel unsafe. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Someone so big and loud and aggressive. And yet that's why they're acting like that. So it's the long game, but it will have an effect even in this life, but definitely into the future, in future relationships and future lives. And now something else here too. Pleasurable speech too. So jokes, creating harmony, which includes a smile and a hi, and then just, doesn't have to be anything else. So you're not kind of encroaching on their space. So practice that, and that's good to get that as the bigger habit than being defensive, to have that generosity of our speech. And now here's the big incentive, the benefit. The benefit for us is that people will speak well of us. You'll have a good reputation. And isn't that the opposite of what you've been experiencing now with all the bullying? So we've got the external circumstances, and even if we just work on those, it doesn't change the whole experience. It can all happen again. And you might find this, it happened at work, and then it happens in this situation, and then it happens in that situation. So that points it's a deeper karmic thing, and that we can try and fix each situation, and yet another one comes up. So how we fix that is by looking at the deeper karmic process and practicing kind speech, always saying the truth in a kind manner, being friendly, like the lamas are. They're friendly with everybody. And then the natural result is people will speak well of you. And so that whole process of it happening again and again and again will come to an end. And that's guaranteed. That's how karma works. It'll come to an end. So the nice thing about how karma is so stretched out over lifetimes is that, in a way, you don't have to take it personally. You don't have to think, oh no, what did I do to deserve this? It wasn't you. It was your mind stream in a different life, in a different circumstance, being reactive. That's what happened. And now we have the result. They didn't know. Like past life, Shannon didn't know what the result was going to be, and now you're experiencing the result. Oh, gee, thanks. The other thing is, past life Shannon also must have done something really amazing to find a Buddhist center and to find people that you can talk with and everything, and to find support and to live in a culture where there are self-help groups and where the police aren't corrupt and they can help you. So that's also thank you, past life, Shannon. So there's a lot to chew on, right?
Yes, thank you.
And really, if we want people to speak well of us, if we want a good reputation, we've got to put in the very root causes. And then even if someone gets it wrong or someone gets the wrong idea of us, it won't stick. It'll just kind of glance off us. It won't have an effect. But when I was talking to Geshe Tenzin Zopa about this, my experience of being bullied and just being so shocked and my whole life coming to a shuddering halt, and really having to search deeply of where was I wrong, what did I do wrong, and then come to the conclusion that I didn't actually do anything wrong. And then he said, everybody on a Buddhist path actually goes through something like this, where you become an outcast, where everybody gets you wrong. It's in the innermost Kadampa jewels, where you become like a dog. And that is actually part of a spiritual journey, where you become an outcast to society and everyone treats you like a dog. And it's a good sign. And so what it does is it makes you immovable. And that's what Geshe Zopa said. Miffi, you've got to be immovable. How do you become immovable? Because you do all the inner analysis and you know your motivation is pure. What you're doing is in accordance with the Dharma. It's to help everybody, and you become immovable, no matter what anybody says. So who knew, that a difficulty like this is actually a good sign?
I'll try to think of it like that.
And the result, really, when you come out the other end, the result is this firm, pure determination. And you will never have a doubt about that again. So does anyone else have anything to comment or say about this particular issue? Do you have your own experience of something like this? Who's got anyone else?
For me, when I have those
Yeah.
moments of I don't like the next door neighbor because I don't like the next door neighbor. Ours is a long history, but and it's cliche, but it goes back to remembering that that person is your mother or has been your mother.
Yeah. And Shayla, you don't ever have to like your next door neighbor. I mean, all that like and dislike, it's quite a superficial thing and it's quite fickle. Deep underneath, you can care and you may never get on with them. You may never like them. But what happens is that bit starts to not matter.
Eventually I realized that the reason why I didn't care for him or didn't like him were trivial, and I really didn't need to be carrying that around with me. It was just,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
not
right.
nearly
So you can,
enough like Shannon. I'm nowhere near that, but yeah, I don't like him.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we often think, oh, you have to force yourself to like somebody, but you don't. What comes is you still have difficulty with them, but underneath, if you really can put yourself in their shoes, you can see their problems and their suffering. So you have a genuine concern. And then karmically, what's interesting is if we don't get on with someone, that is like a karmic hangover. And when we don't like someone, or we get off on the wrong foot straight away, or we don't get on with someone and just don't gel at all, that's because in the past we created disharmony. And so now it's the karmic hangover. Now we can't create harmony. Now there's just no way. We're just not friends. And it's just, it's just a result. It's just got to run its course. We don't have to make it any worse. It's just on that level. And now if you put in the effort as you are now, in the future, when you see each other, you'll go, oh, hi.
We are on speaking terms. We do say hello. How are you doing?
Already. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So I know you've had your hand up for the whole class. How are you going? Are you busting to say something?
Hi. Actually, maybe I'll just keep it for another time because I don't think we'll have enough time. But
Okay.
what
So
I want,
next time, so next week we've got one more week with me. So you jump in next week. Write it down so you don't forget.
but thank you, Shannon, for sharing such such a personal experience. Thank you so much. And I've just kind of listening to Miffi give solutions, just trying to my own personal. So thank you so much for being so vulnerable, Shannon, for sharing. And I do hope that it all just sort of works out for you. I did want to say like two things, I guess, that are really just cool. I went for a walk, just inspiration. I went for a walk just now before coming on to Be Your Own Therapist, and I saw there was a bee that I think passed away, and then there was another bee that was trying to revive that bee that passed away, and it was doing so much to like turn the bee around, so that at first I didn't know, like, is it like, should I get involved and help? And then I did a prayer, like I said a prayer, and then I didn't know if to get involved, like if to put that dead bee like to the earth, right? So that, because I'm thinking, is this bee trying to move? But then I thought, you know what, let me leave it. And I watched what was happening, and that bee was trying to pick up the dead bee and fly away with it. And it was just such a
Oh,
like
wow.
just a heartfelt moment I had. And
Yeah.
it just really I don't know, there's a lot of things to process about what just happened.
That
um
is that is really profound, Anna, because you've really seen the bee as a being,
yeah
really, right there. That's like a bodhisattva bee,
yeah
because
and
not
sorry.
as a thing or not as somebody else, but just as an actual being experiencing.
Yeah, it was like it was experiencing the death of its own species. And at
Yeah.
first I didn't know if the bee, at first I thought the bee was trying to turn over the dead bee, thinking that, oh, it's injured, or it's on its back and it needs to turn over. And I was going to do that. But then I don't know. I don't speak bee, so I don't know what the bee, but the bee picked up that bee and flew away with it. Like it was just such
Mm.
a profound sort of
Yeah.
experience I just had.
I
One
wonder if beekeepers have seen that kind of thing, because um we it's just so wonderful that you noticed that. That's
that was
that's that's a
empathy.
real Lama Zopa Rinpoche moment right there,
Like that is
because Lama Zopa Rinpoche said in one of the Bendigo teachings, he was talking about various stages of the bodhisattvas, and there's a stage where you can know the minds of each sentient being. You can know the minds of every single ant. You can hear what their hopes and wishes are. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh God, why would I want to know that? They're probably just like, give me food and get out of my way, or whatever it is. Why would I want to have all of that noise in my mind? But clearly Rinpoche felt so warmly towards every single ant and every single bee that he could hear their hopes and their wishes in their heart. And that's from actually really seeing there's another living being. So that is your Lama Zopa Rinpoche moment. And just recently there was this documentary on telly about the aquarium trade, with all of the fish, and that was another thing that they said, that all the fish that they take from the reefs, they they've now got this technology that they can hear the fish talk to each other, and so the fish have little clicks and gurgles and whatever, and they communicate with each other, and they have family groups, and they have friends. They have ones they like, ones they don't like. And there was this one particular bunch of fish. They're like little funny sucker fish, and what they do is they clean the parasites off other fish. And so here you have, like, deep down in the coral reef, this spa where all the other fish species that normally eat each other, they all line up and they wait in the waiting room for the little parasite fish to come along and nibble off all their parasites and clean them. And there's like this détente where none of the fish eat each other. They're all there to be cleaned. And then they go off into the ocean and resume activities. But I'm just thinking, wow, there's this whole fish community with communication and everything, just like there is with bees, a whole community of beings that relate to each other and communicate. And the thing with fish, why we don't notice, is we can't hear them. We can't hear them talk. So we just think there's nothing happening. Like, the concentration span of a goldfish. Well, actually, they've got a whole lot going on. But we just don't hear it like we do with mammals. So I think thank you so much for sharing that. It's really, it is a Lama Zopa Rinpoche moment to have that connection with another living being like that. And you did the right thing too, just to watch and let the bee be.
Yeah,
We as humans, we like to jump in and fix and change and whatever, but bees know what to do. They've been doing it for millennia. And so just watching and not interfering, right course of action.
yeah, it was, and I could actually feel the empathy of that bee. It was really funny. Like, I just stopped everything and I really could feel that empathy, like that, of what that bee was trying to do and take that bee. Like, it was just such a magical moment. I'll move on
Yeah.
from what I also wanted to share was that as I'm coming home, I've been thinking a girlfriend of mine needs to take some photos of like me in a way to put on my IG. And somehow I can't find a post that someone had followed me to show her all these pictures. And all of a sudden I open up my Instagram and there is something, just like, there's a person following me that has a spread of this page of photos for my girlfriend to see. Like, I just wanted to share two pieces of inspiration that's
And
occurred
things go
just
well.
before.
And I mean, it's great too, because we expect things to go well, and then we're so disappointed when they don't. But then again, when they do go well, it's a miracle, isn't it? I mean, the nature of samsara, cyclic existence, what Geshe Sultram said to us, the nature of our ordinary cyclic existence, samsara, is not quite right. So things are almost, but they're not quite right. And that is actually the nature of it. So when something goes well, fantastic, enjoy it. Absolutely enjoy it for what it is. And karmically, you can recognize that too. It's not a random thing. That's a karmic result. It's a karmic result of having helped in the past, of having brought things together to conclusion, communicated nicely. So now it comes back at us. We experience finding the file on the computer. It's a karmic result. So we've got about 8 minutes to do our Om Hum meditation to put it all together. And I thank you so much for that inspiration. And I like that the bee, let the bee be, the sentient being. It's a really excellent analogy. One being helping another.
You're welcome.
There. Doesn't matter how small the life form, the intensity of the experience, really, that's what you're connected with. And the mind is as big and limitless as yours. So that's just like Maitreya appeared as the dog. I think bodhisattvas are appearing as the bee. That's your personal teaching. Oh, excellent. So let's do our meditation then to, where are we? Here, to bring this deep into our psyche. Because we have all of this talk and we have this inspiration, and our minds are kind of relieved a bit, but to help the experience integrate into our being, so that we don't have to just intellectually remember. It becomes part of us, part of our inner process. Let's do this Om Ahum meditation from Lama Yeshe. And this photograph of Lama, such a beautiful way of his posture. It's alert, it's engaged, but also relaxed. It's such a balance right there. So we can try and mirror that to the best ability that we can, ready to engage in the meditation, but also having a relaxed, open mind. So adjusting your posture however is comfortable, and imagining that the inside of your body is completely clear and spacious. Just the outside shell. And within your body are these 3 glowing syllables: a white Om in the center of your head, a red Ah in the center of your throat, and a blue Hum in the center of your heart. And they're fine. They're refined syllables. They're very distinct. They're very clear. They're soft, vibrant, blowing there. These 3 seeds of enlightenment, of enlightened body, speech, and mind. And then gently shift your focus to the white Om in the center of your head. And as we chant Om, try and feel the resonance of that sound in your whole body, and white light and nectar flow from the Om and fill your whole body, so it becomes radiant, and all the negativities accumulated with whatever actions we've done in this life and all past lives are purified. Om. 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 Keep feeling and hearing that Om with your inner ears. Feel it resonating in your body. All the negative actions that we've accumulated with our body are completely purified. Your body feels radiant, energized, healthy. And then gently shift your focus to the red Ah in the center of your throat, glowing warm, radiant like the sun at sunset. And red light and nectar flow from this red Ah through your whole nervous system, illuminating it so your whole body becomes glowing red. And feel that all of the negativities of speech, all the unskillful speech that you've ever spoken in this life and all previous lives, it's completely purified. All of the disharmony that we've created with our speech, all of the harsh words, they are completely purified in this warm red light. And as we chant Ah, feel the whole of your throat opening up. Ah. 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 Feel the resonance of that sound through your whole being. You're being harmonized with enlightened speech. Your speech becoming harmonized with the enlightened speech of the Buddhas. And then gently shift your focus to the blue hum at your heart, there in the center of the chest. Incredibly radiant, blue bottle blue. Like deep space without limit, completely clear. That blue spaciousness encompassing the entire universe. And as we recite the hum, then the blue light fills your whole being, your whole experience. And your mind becomes clear and limitless and unobstructed, just like the Buddhas. Om. 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 Your mind free of all duality, embracing entire universal reality, perfectly, effortlessly understanding all things, the direct experience of the truth. Purified and liberated. And again, becoming aware of all three syllables, there, always glowing within your subtle body, these seeds or potential of enlightenment, and that we can dedicate by doing this meditation and having this short time together, this class and wonderful discussion, that we have nurtured those seeds of enlightened body, speech, and mind. May we bring them to fruition and actually become a Buddha for the benefit of all. So thank you so much, everybody. And may we all meet our Maitreya bee. And when you do, make sure you notice. Go, Maitreya, I've been praying to you, Buddha, I've been praying to you to see you all this time.
Is that what I should have done?
Oh no, this is what you can do now. It's okay. Do it in retrospect. It's quite a blessing, and you may come back to that bee in your mind quite often. It's not an ordinary bee. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Take care. Bye.